We begin with this. Police say 2 people are in custody after a shooting leaves 5 people critically injured near Temple University. Good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington. Jessica is off tonight. The gunfire started after 7 in North Philadelphia. One victim was hit 14 times.
Wow, man. This is one of our flagship universities on the East Coast, at least. Temple, man. And now listen, the last time I did a story on Temple, it was during a rash of shootings on the campus. You know, a student got killed by a carjacker who had been recently released for another carjacking. But just because I haven't done a lot of videos on Temple in the last 3-4 months doesn't mean that nothing happened. This is a common occurrence near Temple University. And it's also a mass shooting. Even though they just calling it 5 people shot. You imagine if a glider did this? A glacier glider did this on Temple, around Temple, shot 5 people? My God.
Yuki Washington. Jessica is off tonight. The gunfire started after 7 in North Philadelphia. One victim was hit 14 times. Eyewitness News reporter Jasmine Payute has new information tonight from a relative of one of the victims. Jasmine?
Yuki, it's still unclear just how many shots were fired in this shooting, but as you mentioned, 5 people are now in critical condition. One of them shot at least 14 times, and tonight police tell us they have 2 people in custody.
You know, these guns, again, here we go with multiple shots fired on a beautiful day in Philadelphia.
A Wednesday night marred by violence after 5 people were shot and now in critical condition.
We should not tolerate this in communities, and we're asking for the community members who are out here, people have information. It's not like these people are not from this neighborhood. People know who these individuals are. They know who's responsible for this. And we're just asking to do the right thing and call our tip line.
Listen, man, I get calling the tip line, but don't ask anybody in Philadelphia to come and point anybody out in court or testify or anything like that. When the DA is a pro-criminal, cockroach known as Let 'em Go Larry, or AKA Mr. Softy, Larry Krasner. If you're a person in Philadelphia and you see a murder and you agree to testify, you won't make it to that trial date because the guy who you're testifying against will be released on bail, on bond, or even on his own recognizance. And then the charges may be dropped. So you're probably going to die over something that would have never even, like, you'll die for nothing. You'll die waiting to testify in a trial that's never going to happen because he's not going to prosecute it.
The gunshots rang out on the 1500 block of North Bouvier Street just after 7 o'clock. The most serious injuries include a 28-year-old man who was shot 14 times.
That's probably the most serious injuries. I would agree with that. Being shot 14 times, yeah. He wins the award for the most serious injuries in this mass shooting. 14 times. My God.
The most serious injuries include a 28-year-old man who was shot 14 times, a 20-year-old woman who was shot 7 times, and a 59-year-old man who was shot in the chest.
To end these things with guns, you see what happens here. It's devastating results. You got 5 people in the hospital from all age groups.
A resident we spoke with off camera says his relative is one of the 5 people shot. He says they were all innocent bystanders, simply outside having separate conversations when it happened.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Black Stan, man. Everyone who was shot was an innocent bystander. And they all were having separate conversations. Think about that. This is the stand. This is the stand. This is why there's no retaliation against the Buffalo shooter. Or you could go online or even on YouTube, all of a sudden people, man, we need to go. First of all, they arrested him on the scene, and he was arraigned within 2 hours. And he was charged, and they might convict him. His trial might start next week, man. Like, they move fast on that, but everybody's like, we need to, a lot of thugs can't get revenge. Well, some thugs, this is not the mafia, man. This is not organized crime. This is just random impulsive shooting after random impulsive shooting, after argument leading to a shooting, after drive-by with 16-year-old who's never been to a gun range, shooting into a crowd of people out of the side of a vehicle going about 60 miles per hour while shooting sideways. Stuff like that, man. This ain't the mob, man. This ain't the mafia, man. It's just a bunch of sunmen just running around the village with guns, man. Bunch of villagers running around the village with guns. That's all it is, man.
He says they were all innocent bystanders, simply outside having separate conversations when it happened. When officers arrived, they chased two men who were fleeing, one of them reportedly tossing a gun. Police now have 2 people in custody.
This is not the police department's problem. It's not anybody's problem. This is everybody's problem. And it's going to take the entire village to get this back under control, because everybody knows who these kids are. And we shouldn't be living in fear of a small amount of kids in these communities that are creating problems like this. We should do the right thing.
Detectives still don't have a motive. They're asking anyone with information to come forward. We're live in North Philadelphia. Jasmine Payut, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Jasmine, thank you.
Arlington police arrested a second person connected to the murder of a car dealership owner. Funeral services were held for him, the victim, today. The suspected shooter, Brian Espy, is now charged with capital murder. Espy's girlfriend, the accused getaway driver, charged with armed robbery. More may be coming for her. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager is in Arlington tonight with the latest. Peyton.
Adel El-Hindawi's family respectfully maintained their privacy today, but they tell me his funeral was this afternoon. Meanwhile, Arlington police are releasing new details saying El-Hindawi was ambushed and there was a nearby witness who tried to do everything she could to keep him alive. Friday, Salem Autos in Arlington sits temporarily closed as the owner of the used car dealership, 52-year-old Adel El-Hindawi, is laid to rest. Out front, the gate is shut and a small memorial is growing. The husband and father of 2 was shot Monday afternoon, police say, by his customer, Brian Espy.
You should be able to discriminate, man. I know Tina Knowles say that, these guys aren't dangerous and everybody's profiling them and it's the worst thing ever. And if we could stop profiling, but listen, I would have profiled this guy, man. I would have profiled. I'm a Sun man. I wouldn't have told him to leave, but I'd have been like, what cars are you interested in? Oh, you're interested in this 1974 Pinto? Well, today's your lucky day. We've marked that down to $8 billion gazillion. Let's head over to my office and sign the paperwork. No? What do you mean? No. We've just marked this car down. It's only $8 billion gazillion. What do you mean, am I joking? Okay, all right. You drive a hard bargain, Mr. Brian Espy. Let me see. $7 billion gazillion. That's my final offer, though. Hey, man, where you going? Mr. Espy, where you going? All right, let's talk. $6 billion gazillion. Rats. That's how you play that one, man.
The husband and father of 2 was shot Monday afternoon, police say, by his customer, Brian Espy. El Hindawi died from his injuries Thursday.
I just automatically went in survival mode, like, we got to help him.
Ariel Oliver lives at the apartment complex where El Hindawi was shot. She heard the gunfire outside her apartment, called 911, and rushed to help.
We just sat there. We kept talking to him, like, you really don't know what to say other than, hold on, they're coming.
Monday, El Hindawi and another employee arrived at the apartment complex off Alexis Avenue to retrieve a loaner Jeep Cherokee using an installed GPS.
Repo. Being a repo man in the hood, boy. Being anything in the being an Uber driver in the hood. I mean, anything in the hood. Teacher, anything in the hood. So they were doing repo. The people were ducking and dodging and not trying to bring the car back, so they used the GPS tracker to find the car and were going to just take it back, on their own without, consulting the people who had loaned it from them, rented it from them, and never brought it back. Very dangerous work.
Monday, El Hindawi and another employee arrived at the apartment complex off Alexis Avenue to retrieve a loaner Jeep Cherokee using an installed GPS. According to Arlington police, Espy never returned the loaner Jeep, even after he was handed back his personal car, which was at Salem Autos for repairs.
He gets his car back on Saturday, and then on Monday, they still haven't received the Jeep back, so they went as part of their business just to go pick this up.
The employee with El Hindawi started up the Jeep and tried to exit the parking lot when police say Espy opened fire.
I mean, let's just think about that, man. Just think about the thought process. Now we know, his judgment's a little off. This is his girlfriend, but the thought process, like, oh, they coming to get the car back. Let me open fire on the car. That'll fix whatever is wrong, right? That'll make this situation better, right? It is, and some of you, and not only pasty liberals with 1,000 degrees and sisters with, degrees in African American studies and liberal arts, but some of you and some of you citizens of our nation really think y'all can fix this. You cannot fix this.
He gets his car back on Saturday, and then on Monday, they still haven't received the Jeep back, so they went as part of their business just to go pick this up.
The employee with El Hindawi started up the Jeep and tried to exit the parking lot when police say Espy opened fire. El Hindawi, who was inside this blue Charger with a shattered driver's side window, was struck in the head and crashed into a parked Cadillac. Oliver jumped into action by putting the Charger in park and applying pressure to El Hindawi's wounds.
I didn't know what I was walking up to, and I was hesitant because a car came around, and I didn't know if they were coming back.
Now, we get on sisters a lot on this channel. I mean, because this is pretty much a channel about, the problems in the community. And we cover news stories, and oftentimes sisters at the center of those news stories. But I want to give this sister a little bit of recognition, man, and some props, man. This sister make a great wife, man. One of you brothers down there in Dallas, Fort Worth need to bag this chick, man. We know she ain't married, she's a sister, but one of you brothers need to bag this chick, man. This is a nice woman, man. One of you older brothers in your 30s, late 30s, 40s, even mid 30s, man. This girl is a rare bird. I'm 8,000 videos in. You just don't see some people that know how to handle life-threatening situations, know how to handle medical emergencies, know how to handle injured people, people in vulnerable situations. You just don't see it. Okay? You don't see it, man. And trust me, man, I be looking, man. And if you got videos, more videos of some people that, can spring into action, can put pressure on wounds, give chest compressions, tie tourniquets, do the Heimlich maneuver, swim. I mean, just different things. Man, please send them, man. Because this is a rare, rare bird right here, man. And she's a keeper, man. She's a keeper.
I didn't know what I was walking up to, and I was hesitant because a car came around, and I didn't know if they were coming back.
An arrest affidavit released Friday says that's when SB hopped into his girlfriend's car. Police say Kiana Massey blocked the employee trying to drive away in the Jeep. Fox 4 spoke to the employee on Tuesday, requesting his face not be shown.
I really thought he was going to shoot me right there, but he just put the gun to my forehead and he said, "Get out the car."
SB has a lengthy criminal history.
No, get out. No way. Y'all always trying to make a brother look bad. There's no way this guy's a lengthy criminal history.
SB has a lengthy criminal history, including armed robbery, drug possession, and evading arrest. Now he faces a capital murder charge, while the girlfriend, Massey, faces an armed robbery charge.
It's just sad that he was took away from his family over something so simple, right?
And Massey's charge could be upgraded, according to Arlington Police. Now, El Hindawi's co-workers, they tell me that Salem Autos doesn't usually hand out loaner cars, and that El Hindawi was doing SB a favor.
So he was doing the son man a favor, huh? They don't usually loan out cars, man, because, they're doing them a favor. Well, let me tell you something, mate. That guy he's not a sub to Ock Nation News, man. He would have known, man. No acts. And I mean none. I'm not talking about like some or there's stipulations. This group of acts, none. No. Zero, zilch. If you want to do something kind for a son person, just do it. You're doing it because, you're a Christian or you like doing good things, but you're not doing it for any reciprocity in any way, shape, or form. Now, here's the weird thing about son people, man. Another son person will do something good for you sometime later in your life, sometime down the road. But that specific son person, oh my God, get away from that person as soon as possible. Don't cross paths with them again. And you talking about somebody who knows, listen, man, letting the son person hold $5 is like buying an enemy. You're basically paying for an enemy. The best case scenario is that the son person just stops speaking to you because they don't want to pay you $5 back. That's the best case scenario. And in this case, they would have been better off letting the police handle this. But our friend Benawi, I feel sorry for people that don't know these things because they're being fed so much other BS. this guy couldn't have known. I mean, it's just sad, man. He thought he could do a brother a favor. There's absolute, listen, man. There was no way this was going to turn out good. I already told you how to handle it early in the video. Jeez. Poor guy, man. Whole life ahead of him. Owns a business. Probably came here like 10, 15 years ago tops. Already has a business. Got a family, a house. Doing great for himself. Sad, man. Sad.
And Massey's charge could be upgraded, according to Arlington Police. Now, El Hindawi's co-workers, they tell me that Salem Autos doesn't usually hand out loaner cars, and that El Hindawi was doing SB a favor.